Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for March Comes In Like a Lion, Season 1, Episode 20. Okay, Shimada and Souya are having their fourth match.
Yep.
This is a deciding match in that it will determine who wins the Lions King tournament.
Right, because if he can't beat Souya here, then, well, he's definitely not making it to his hometown.
Yes, yes.
At least not as a potential victor.
Right. And given that Shimada has this kind of hold on to the last embers of life kind of like resolve, I can see him going at least a little bit of distance with this. But also I think that part of this show is about handling loss and about handling
the struggle and
right, and about handling the I would say the not the comforts but kind of the safety. The safety within the familiar being taken away, just being ripped away.
Sure.
So Shimada obviously has gone through, experiences like that in his struggle and growth to become this great shogi player.
Right.
So the question is, I would say, are they going to focus like entirely on him and have this be more of a character episode? Are they going to focus on Souya at all?
Is this going to be a character death episode for Shimada?
In that kind of shogi analysis kind of way, I'm curious to see. But other than that, I like that we are here with Ray having still be our perspective character through his eyes, experiencing this whole thing, because I feel like he's going to be taking a lot of what Shimada learns to heart himself. So yeah, guys, it's gonna be good. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, we're going to start the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
It really is impressive how the show is able to have everything be so like relatively slow paced, and yet because like that's in a lot of ways considered like a no as far as storytelling goes, right? You want to have the excitement and all that stuff, but this show pulls it off so well.
That's actually the one part in this OP that I still don't fully understand. Ray and his friends running away from something, and they stumble into Nikaido.
Oh.
Like, it just seems like, wait a minute. What?
Oh, no, I think... Well, okay. And here's the...
What I like also with this is that this is a brief moment where Ray is actually in darkness in the entire OP.
Right.
Whereas in the previous OP, he was in darkness almost throughout the entire thing.
Right. Kind of shows that he's been pulled out of darkness.
Yeah, and that he won't stay there for much.
Yeah.
And for much long period of time. Oh. Is that Shimada? Yeah. This is his inner world. Wow. Just caught in a storm.
Yep. All right. I love the choice of music.
Studio Shaft focusing really closely on an eyeball. Oh, wow.
Wait. Did the game already end? Or no, this is a younger version.
This is a slightly younger version, I believe.
he has too much hair.
Also he... Yeah, I was going to say, he's probably dreaming too, yeah. Nice. Oof. Wow. That's why her eyes aren't shown.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Wow. Whoa.
So this is a long time ago.
Hmm. Yep. Okay, is that going to be the theme of this episode?
And as the bird flies above,
yep,
tiny little bird chasing after it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, do you think he's going to lose now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be an execution.
It's all just going to be build up, again, as we go back to the matches start again, and then start it a little bit more from his perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Once more into the breach.
Can't escape it. Wow.
I would not have expected him to say regret.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's a grim look.
Yep. That's right.
All right.
The fire hasn't died out yet. Not yet.
It's a horrible day for Rain, but his fire is covered with himself, Oh, come on. Why do you got to do that? Why do you got to do that? No. No. Okay. Why does the show got to be like that? That doesn't build an artistic picture. Ugh. Ooh. Wow. Jeez.
Because he'd need to win this one and the next one.
He's wondering whether or not that means his perspective is, correct. Oh, cool. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was just like... Nah. Ah! That's amazing. Ah!
Seriously? Wow.
Obviously not piloting it, but... Oh. Oh, no, maybe he would pilot it. Because he said, I would have flown there. Yeah. Home. Home. Oh. Dang. Oh, so the chairman's going in. Oh! Ha!
Will Ray end up doing it? Because he hasn't been, like, working with them?
Wow. Wow.
But Ray hasn't been around them, so maybe... Oh.
Well, Smith was already on it. Okay, so he's going to be the main observer. Gotcha. Wow. Oh, yes.
What is with this sultry voice?
Right. Yeah, this is painful. Whoa. Okay.
Wow. A game that lasts multiple days.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Cool.
Nice. So he's going to be basically the side commentator on... Okay, cool. Shogi Dragon Raido. With our audience in mind. Yeah. Ouch.
Uh-huh.
Both hands, yeah. They keep putting that pressure on him.
Asking Ray what he thinks.
Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Get good. Oh, all right. He's right, though.
Yeah.
Jeez. They are the same thing. Yeah. This. Yeah. Okay. What incredible aura.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The two veterans are just like, yeah. Oh, Ray. Oh, Ray. It's going to be okay. All right. Wow. All right. Oh my god. The heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, it's accelerating.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to hurt me, Shimada. Jeez. Okay.
All right.
Okay. That's the game.
Is he saying that the game's as good as over, or?
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Dang. He's in the back line.
And then the kid version of himself.
Yeah. This storm in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
This whirlwind of white snow.
Oh.
Okay, we're getting into meta stuff here. Mm-hmm. Tell me how the game is not over. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Look at the board.
Right, so right now you have to look and see if there's any way that he can win.
Yeah. Wow, the music this episode has been incredible. Okay.
Let's figure out how.
He made a move and then left?
Yeah.
He can't influence the actual game.
Right.
What move was made? He missed it. Whoa!
Dang.
So he basically did what... Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep, and then he... Yeah.
Whoa.
Nice.
Oh, that's good. So Souya had one opening.
Uh-huh.
One opening.
And he noticed it.
Yeah. That seems like way too obvious of a move then if it was something that could give a check reversal. Oh.
Okay. Seeing him struggle.
Sure.
Try and beat him.
Yeah. What a beautiful sunset. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, he's exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You kind of recall back to Ray when he would swim from island to island in his mind, basically. Or he would try to swim to the next island just so he could take a breath and breather that stay there.
Yeah.
It was basically like he just kept getting beaten back, by the waters, keeping him from the island.
Right.
But when he even saw potentially the island close up, he chose not to look up,
Mm-hmm.
Chose not to... Yeah. Yep. Keep moving forward. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
All right. So, are they done with the shogi aspects for the rest of this season, or what?
Well, they're done with Shimadas. They're done with Shimadas.
But like that whole tournament's
but they can
over.
But they can still do plenty with shogi from the standpoint of the training workshop.
Oh yes, that's definitely true.
Also from the standpoint of just Rei, like like practicing and getting, you know, I would say a little bit better, but also analyzing that game. Because in some ways, what I'm thinking is going to happen is the natural consequence of this. Someone's going to go and realize, wait a minute, how did Rei Fifth Dan see that move?
Right.
When no one else did except Souya.
Right.
It's like, well, okay, we can draw the connection there that they're both the middle school prodigies, you know.
Right, sort of the young minds.
Yeah. They're
different
not
way of thinking.
Yeah, they're not held back by just looking at things from a specific standpoint.
Right, the established perspective that everyone else takes.
Yeah. And I like that Souya knew it was there all along. Like he was just like, yeah, okay, cool. It wasn't seen.
Yep.
So it was basically this should make him, you know, believe that he's lost.
Right.
But if he doesn't see, you know, this move amongst the potential 40 other moves he had, it's like, there you go. Okay, wow. So there we go. Episode 20.
Shimada's done.
Yeah, this was basically like you said, it was an execution in the saddest of ways to watch someone's basically
fire burnout.
Yeah, because the exhaustion, the physical ailments, the stomach pains, the mental pressure, the people talking about him behind his back, I would say the projection of defeat being bombarded at him from every aspect of his environment made it so there was almost no way he could have seen that move.
Right. It felt
really sad. Yeah.
Like even with the fire that he brought to the table, you know, with all those points, like those
he
were
used
really
his
good.
pain to fuel him.
That felt like something where he's like, this is my last match and I will go out in a blaze of glory. But because of that, maybe he didn't see it.
Maybe. You know? I think that he genuinely did try.
Oh, yeah.
But it was
absolutely.
once he essentially gave up on his attack. I would see it in a very similar way as in chess. When I've seen you go in like, you're I'm going to go all attack here.
Yeah.
And you start sacrificing board position. Or not really board position. You sacrifice pieces to gain some board position and try and close out the game in like 6 moves. But then once it hits 7, 8, 9 moves, the attack starts to lose the tempo.
You don't have tempo,
Yeah, and then it's like, oh crap. And then maybe you start thinking too far ahead and you go, wait, I need to cover up against the counterattack. Instead of thinking, wait, no. Keep thinking 5 moves ahead just in what we've got thus far. You know, don't be thinking about end game positions and stuff like that, and you know, sacrificing tempo to like castle or something like that. You know, go harder on the attack, and that's basically what you know, Rei's move was there was a counterattack brought back, and he blocked the attack and continued the attack in the same move.
Exactly. It was the thing where Shimada had the whole idea of you know, press the attack, be aggressive, be aggressive. But then when that stopped, he was like, oh, it's done. Whereas there was actually another way to
continue.
And
I think that perfectly fits what was going on with his character this whole time, is that he had the prize in front of him. He had the goal, like this new guy is basically bringing up. He had the desire. He had the want. He had the thing in front of him he was going after. And in a lot of ways, people saw great honor in him going so doggedly after Souya here, even though like he lost 3 times in a row to get to this game. And people are kind of like, yeah, this game's probably going to go the same way. The results don't speak for themselves. He's too weak. He's not like he's even physically ill. Like despite his game being weak, his physical ailments are keeping him back. But then he summons up
every last reserve of strength,
to do a really like aggressive attack. And I would say in general, like with my limited knowledge of these types of strategy games, going so aggressive in the attack like that is more of a sign of a like
desperation.
It's a little bit of desperation and the sign of some I would say, some kind of raw kind of intimidation, but someone who's played, 5,000 games or something, or however many games Souya has played or whatever, would probably just go, yeah, I've seen these types. Like, they've seen every attack like that before, so they just kind of keep their cool and don't break patterns just because the attack is actually legitimately scary.
Right, and that was what happened here. He won by keeping his cool rather than by necessarily by his strategy. I mean, that was definitely an aspect of it too.
Sure.
But if he had lost his cool, then Shimada, or if Shimada hadn't lost his cool, and that's a great parallel to Rei,
right?
Because since shogi is used as basically a way to show his internal state,
right,
and how he's struggled and the things that he's had to overcome and everything, and how he's doing as a person, then having something like this where the fate of the game literally could have been turned around with just a different perspective,
right?
That's really good.
Yeah. And it's something that has actual consequences in story by him losing here. I feel like you were like on the wavelength of that, realizing that Shimada's character is one that's echoing that aspect of Rei, where they are, they are dealing with loss and how they handle it. And Shimada is basically a more, experienced and mature, character than Rei. So he has, I would say, a little bit more of a balanced perspective in that.
Sure.
And the episode kind of told us you can find happiness wherever you are.
Right.
Basically, that just because you're not, a title champion, or you don't win a tournament against Souya, you can still be an 8th Dan and find happiness there.
Yep.
You can still have a shogi workshop where you train up 5th dans and,
exactly.
below, and find happiness there.
Right.
There's something that I've wondered about Shimada specifically, if his arc was actually going to be about settling, and it's going to be something where, while that's something that's good for him, Rei can't settle.
Right, because Rei still has that youthful fire.
Yes, he has his fire. His fire hasn't died out. And Shimada, there's nothing wrong with saying, no, I'm going to move on to a different goal. Because I'm not having the success in this one here.
Yeah.
Now they could go for the longer game where it's just,
I'll do better next year.
You'll do better next year, exactly.
Yeah.
But given that we had some internal perspective stuff with Rei in addition to Shimada, I am curious to see if Rei is going to take the fires of Shimada that brought him here and kind of use that as his beacon amidst the storm he sees, and just kind of be like, there's still so much more that I can do, but more than that, I'm going to take the pain and the loss that they've endured, like Shimada, and use that as my, if they can handle that, then I sure as hell can handle all this stuff that I'm dealing with here, and be I would say a little bit stronger for that. But
and also potentially the reverse of that. Like, he was so intimidated by the dragon guy. He's like, this is what you put up with all the time, Shimada, and you just have a stomach pain. So, like, you're a monster in and of itself. Yourself, because of being able to do that. And the basically once Rei deals with all the stuff on the inside for him, then all this stuff,
obvious.
Oh yeah, that's just all part of the game.
Right. And that's a cool way to look at it too. The dragon guy actually being someone that fires up Rei in the future, basically just being like, oh yeah, I have desires, I have goals, I'm gonna go after them.
And one of the things
that's a bad thing.
In the hero's journey, one of the things that can be used is the idea of the dragon, where it's the basically the gatekeeper kind of. And it's not usually it's done in a way where the hero has to struggle against them directly, but it could also be in indirect ways where it's to test the resolve of the character, basically to basically show them what they're up against, and then will they continue to push on. And this guy here kind of did that, because he was really intimidating, and he didn't pull his punches against Rei, telling him what he thought about his future as a shogi player.
I gotta say, though, while the veterans were like, he was saying right things, he led the whole thing with the most insecure, I'm more impressive. I was like, is this just a bad translation, or is he actually saying that? Because he sounds like a petulant child right now.
Yeah, he's like, hold on, let me get out the measuring stick. I measure at 9th Dan, you only measure at 5th Dan.
His name isn't Dragon, it's Bigus Dickus.
Yeah. Weird flex, but okay.
Okay.
Although the flexes were, not exactly weird in this setting, but still.
Right.
Feeling like he needs to show up this high school kid. Yeah.
Cool story.
Fight all. Yeah. But so now that Ray has basically called the move and kind of showed up, the dragon guy and Shimada in a lot of ways and stuff, and he did that all on like TV, I'm pretty sure, like that or at the very least with people there that were it was in the public eye.
There were other pro shogi players there. I don't think they had cameras on that part necessarily, but they could have.
Yeah.
They could have had them in the background and we just didn't notice them.
Because I'm pretty sure they didn't, because of how much formality is around the actual shogi game, they would never actually have cameras in the room, right? It's just the thing of they would have the camera in the room that's like, okay, what's happening, and stuff.
Yeah.
But the main thing that they would focus on as far as the show goes, the show aspect of this match would be the analysis people, the people who are doing what we're doing.
Yeah, I think they would have both simultaneously up at all times. Basically, there's overlays and there's things that people are smart enough to be able to do.
Sure, that's a good point.
I think they would constantly have, if the players are in the room, they would constantly have them there, because there's this emotional connection I think you have with the players on a base level just by seeing them there and realizing it's been 6 hours or it's been 2 days.
You're still hunched over that board.
Yeah, exactly. It builds them up even more so by having us being able to see them. And I know that they would take pictures to capture moments so that they can do their journalistic whatever. But I do think that they were showing probably multiple angles. They were probably showing the board with a camera, just solely the board, nothing else.
Right.
And then they were also showing probably a profile view from the side of the two of them where you can't really see the board. And then they would have both of those being fed to...
Sure. I would be surprised though if what they were doing there was not on TV, because that's probably
what Ray was doing,
because that's probably why they brought them in. And then it's just the fact that Ray was there was just because the other people were the
makes sense
guy had the flu and all that stuff.
Right, makes sense then why the dragon whipped out his dick basically,
because he's like, why am I here with this kid?
Right, I feel dishonored just by being on the stage with a 5th Dan, regardless of whether or not he's a middle schooler.
I was going to be with that 9th Dan guy.
Yeah, exactly. And that is something that is interesting to bring up, is he was saying that when he was his age, he was in B2. Now, obviously, comparisons aside, it's still impressive that, Ray became a professional in middle school. But what I would say in a good way the Dragon is doing is he's basically saying, don't put all this hopes and dreams on some kid. It doesn't mean anything if he doesn't put in the work, because he doesn't have goals. And no kind of vague goals like, I want to be a professional. No, you do the daily
and I loved what he said of what is this with wanting to have goals but saying that desire's bad. He's like, that's
shots fired. Oh my
he's
gosh.
How can you possibly have one without the other?
Right.
That was
They're the same thing. I loved how they had the veterans going, and then they had the newbies who were there as well, just going like they were more affronted by the brashness and the energy of him, whereas the veterans are like, this is good. This is yes, he's got a good head on his shoulders.
Right.
And I think that in a lot of ways, Ray is one who has the goals but no desires, if that makes sense.
Right.
He's not allowing himself to have desires because
I got no fire.
Yeah. Nice. Is that Ray has a goal. He doesn't hold himself to it, but he has a goal to to grow as a shogi player.
Right.
But it's vague. It's not specific. It's not a SMART goal, if you will.
Right.
But then you have also the character of Rei riddled with basically his, I would say his inability to let himself desire things for any extended period of time. So he doesn't take care of himself.
Yep.
He doesn't really, he doesn't even really seek out the Kawamotos. He doesn't. He does all these things that could go into a, hey, this is actually kind of a little bit more helpful for you, but he either like holds himself back or he holds other people, he pushes other people away, like subtly. I don't think he's knowing that he's doing that. But then you have other people who basically invade his castle and are like, hey, like shogi in a lot of ways. They're just like, hey, we're here and we're gonna help you.
Oh, by the way, with the whole thing of Nikaido in the opening and stuff. So what I think it is that because a bunch of people running away and then they run into Nikaido and he's all flaming, right?
Yeah, he's like,
ugh. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's basically the example of showing Nikaido. So if Nikaido is basically going a walk to remember route, right? Like where he's gonna die. Then
Nicholas Sparks, for those of you that don't know.
Right. Then basically he can't allow himself to do that because he doesn't have much time left, right? And the other people will generally run away from things even if they don't necessarily know that they're doing it. With Rei, it's a lot more obvious.
Okay.
And then but he comes in and does his whole brash thing of
stand up proud.
Exactly. And he was even like he was almost JoJo posing.
Yeah, I know. That's why they say stand up proud. He's just like,
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and they brought that up in the episode with Shimada talking about how he was so glad that Nikaido didn't like know about it and didn't go with him because that would have been way too much with the whole helicopter antics that he had done in the past.
In some ways, I would say that Shimada gave it his best. He didn't go into this with a losing mentality, but his subconscious told him what he found in some ways to be his true desire.
It echoed what the people around him said.
Well, yes, conveniently. But I would also say that the dream in the beginning tells us a lot of ways where his heart is at with regards to desires and dreams. Because it was in a dream, and then this thing was talking about how dreams and desires and goals, it's the same thing.
Yep.
So basically, what he would rather have, I think, is that he would rather go back, reunite with his girlfriend.
Because he said regret
there.
Regret.
Lots of regret. And then, he'd have shogi in his life. But he doesn't have to be the best. He doesn't have to prove anything to them.
Yeah.
And I love that because it's so perfect for a character that is actually legitimately good to still be in the mindset of I have to prove myself to them.
Oh, gotcha.
Even though he already has really... So he's chasing after a goal that might not even be for him.
Yeah, it felt kind of like an Uncle Iroh realization, where it was the idea of like, I think it's very wise to choose, friendship and love over power,
Yeah. Perfection and power are overrated.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's what everyone was demanding of him and basically saying, you need to have this or you're nothing. And the fact that he conceded defeat, I would say was, while it could be seen as a negative internal like thing where he had given up, right? It could also be something where he'd basically say he let go. He was able to let go.
And if he was able to let go, I would say that's amazing. He did see the move though once Souya made the move.
Yes, right.
He realized that I was that close.
Right.
I was that close to being in new territory. Like to the Rei's, visual perspective thing of the whole stormy seas swimming to the island. He's like, I just saw
a beam
white
of
sand
light poke through.
Yeah, I saw the beaches of an island for a brief second there.
Yeah.
And I missed it. I gave up. I stopped swimming.
Right.
So I think we haven't actually seen what his decision about his future will be yet.
Right. I think we'll see that moving forward. But the fact that he conceded, like, because they could have had the match just keep going, and then Souya destroys him because he missed the move.
Because he missed the move.
But the fact that he conceded there, I feel like that, it's almost like one of those headcanon things where it could be taken as a, he's like, okay, this is how it is, and that's okay. The fact that I won't be able to, you know, have a game in my hometown, that's all right.
Yeah. I could see that being a headcanon. I think we'll have to wait for confirmation about that in the next episode.
Totally.
Ray got some good focus this episode.
Yes.
I would say, though, that this is one of those episodes where they were really banking heavily on using the internal states, the visual storytelling,
and the whole the shogi game itself.
Well, right, but I would say less the shogi game and actually more the visuals of what they're going through mentally and emotionally in Shimada's head and heart and all that. And it's something that I would say further builds up their characters and gives us a little bit more investment into them, but having them make more decisions, I would say, in specifically Shimada, like in the overall story, I would say it gives me a little bit more opportunity for attachment to him as a character.
Sure, yeah.
So I hope they don't end his story in any way now that he's had this loss and he's conceded. I'm kind of excited about the perspective that he would have after a match like this.
Right. Yes, because especially with the fact
after
that
a good night's sleep,
after
a good night's sleep, and after going back to his workshop and having some tea and just kind of a more casual environment, I really feel like Shimada is in some ways a young Iroh that's just going through the hard parts of life where things are not going his way. And he needs to survive that, and I think that is something that's painful, like his stomach pains and stuff. It's something that could become chronic. It's something that could recur and be held on to, I think, as a memory of regret. But it doesn't have to be. In some ways, I feel like that's kind of also what his stomach pains are.
Are his regrets?
Well, there's also the physical loss. There's obviously not psychosomatic. There's some kind of...
it started way back.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like the fact that they exacerbate at certain times and when at certain times they just disappear, I wonder if we're being given some hints about Shimada's character based around what times the pain spikes and what times the pain
I totally am there with you on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's with how subdued this episode was. You kind of have to pull out whatever you can, because everything that is in there therefore is very intentional, right? Because with how little kind of is there,
right?
And I really like it when stories do that with characters, for giving them characterization and stuff, and I think they did that here. And I'm really excited because, like, okay, the whole notion that Shimada dedicated his entire life of doing this, like, this is a specific goal with a lot of desire to back it up, right? And it just disappeared right in front of him, like all his life's work. Like that's rough. And I don't think they would have been able to communicate that as well as they did, even like, because this episode was a very kind of like introspective episode. I don't think they would have been able to do that if they had more like focus on Ray's perspective, or if they had just like moved it faster or something like that.
Okay, interesting. All right, y'all. Well, this was an episode, and we are now done with this specific tournament, and thus concluding, I would say, a segment of shogi in the story that will either change form to a different shogi, I would say, setting / competitive scene. And I'm curious to see these boys back at the workshop all together.
I really also want to see Shimada, like, because I get the feeling he's going to pull Ray aside and be like, okay, we're going to do another one of our like private games, you know, and we're going to go back to that game
and see how you probably would have won.
Right, exactly.
I mean, from Ray's perspective, Ray's going to be like, and you could have won. That'll be interesting.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Good stuff. If you want to see the next episode's reaction right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. Any level support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about stories like this or just shows in general and hang out, talk about whatever. If any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.